All right, today we're going to break down a really powerful blueprint. This is for any professional out there who's hardworking, you're skilled, you've got the experience, but you just feel completely and utterly stuck. If you feel like you've hit a wall in your career, this framework is for you.
I mean, does this sound familiar? You're doing everything you're supposed to do. You put in the long hours, you have the degrees, you've got years of experience under your belt, but for some reason, your career, your income, your recognition, it's just not moving. It's a really frustrating place to be, and it's probably the clearest sign that just working harder isn't the answer anymore.
So if working harder isn't the solution, what is? Well, it's definitely not luck. And it's not more effort for the sake of effort. It's all about intentional design. You know, as the value architect Akbarode Jimmy puts it, growth is not accidental, it is engineered. Think about that. Without a plan, you're basically leaving your entire professional life up to chance. So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start by really diagnosing the growth problem itself. Then we'll walk through the 5 core pillars of the solution: architecting your mindset, building up your skill capital, positioning your value, and then the really fun part, monetizing and systemizing it all before we wrap up with a final summary.
Okay, first things first, let's be super clear about the problem. Feeling stuck isn't because you're not good enough or you're not working hard enough. No way. It's almost always because you're operating without a clear strategic blueprint for your own growth. You've got the engine, but you don't have a GPS. And that brings us right to the foundation of this entire framework, architecting your mindset. Because let's be real, your skills might get you in the door, but it's your mindset that really, truly determines how far you'll go once you're inside. It's everything.
So, mindset architecture, what does that even mean? Well, it's really about one huge conscious shift, moving your focus from just doing tasks to intentionally engineering value. That right there is the difference between being a doer and being a leader. It's what gets you executive level thinking and, more importantly, executive level results.
And here's where you can really see the difference in action. A task mindset is totally reactive, right? It's always asking, okay, what's my job? What task should I do next? But a value creation mindset, that's proactive. It asks bigger questions like, what's the real problem we're solving here? And how can I personally increase our impact? That little shift in the questions you ask yourself, it changes absolutely everything.
All right, so once you have that value creation mindset locked in, the next step is to fuel it with the right tools. And that leads us to pillar 2, building your skill capital. Because at the end of the day, your income and your potential for growth are directly tied to the valuable skills you bring to the table. Simple as that.
Now, this isn't about just having one type of skill. This blueprint calls for 3 distinct layers. First up, you've got your core skills. That's your technical know-how. Then you build on top of that with strategic skills, stuff like critical thinking that lets you solve bigger problems. And finally, you add what we call amplifier skills. Things like communication, leadership, and sales that literally multiply your impact and your income. The reason so many people get stuck is because they master that first layer and then they just stop. So you've built the right mindset, you've got the right skills, but that's only half the battle. Seriously, if nobody knows about the value you bring, it might as well not exist. This brings us to a crucial step. Pillar 3, positioning your value. It's all about moving from just being valuable to being seen as valuable. And here's the hard truth. So many brilliant professionals are practically invisible. They do incredible work day in and day out, but their value stays hidden in plain sight. You can't just cross your fingers and hope that people will notice how great you are. You have to intentionally and strategically put it out there. Just listen to the difference here. I work in safety. It's kind of passive, a little vague, but I help organizations reduce operational risk and improve safety compliance. Wow. That is clear, it's authoritative, and it immediately communicates high value. See? It's not just about what you do, it's all about how you frame it. Now for the final pieces of the puzzle, taking action and making it last. Once you've built and positioned your value, you've got to turn it into real, tangible results, and then create systems so your growth never, ever stops. This is where pillars 4 and 5 come flying in. So value monetization. That just means turning your expertise into actual rewards. And this isn't just about your 9 to 5. Of course, it leads to promotions and higher salaries, but it also opens up doors to consulting gigs, advisory services, and even creating your own knowledge products like courses or books. Your expertise has multiple potential income streams. You just have to unlock them. And finally, none of this works in the long run without systems. Look, Motivation is great, but it fades. Systems? Systems stick around. This means building routines for continuous learning, for regular reflection to see what's working and what's not, and for strategic networking with people who actually challenge you and open your mind. And there you have it. That's the entire framework. I know we've covered a lot of ground, so let's do a quick, rapid-fire recap of the whole blueprint to really make sure it sticks.
Here it is, your 5-step blueprint for intentional growth. Number 1, architect a value creation mindset. 2, deliberately build your 3 layers of skill capital. 3, position that value so you become visible. 4, monetize your expertise through multiple avenues. And finally, number 5, build personal systems to make that growth consistent and totally sustainable.
If you take just one single thing away from this today, please let it be this. Your goal isn't just to collect more skills like their trading cards. The real goal, the big goal, is to become an architect of your own value, to design it, to build it, and to position it in the world with total intention. If this framework really resonated with you and you want to go a lot deeper on these ideas, make sure you subscribe to AJ Media. We have a lot more teachings on mindset transformation, personal development, value monetization, business, and wealth building. Thanks so much for watching.